G'day, it's Brad Sheppard here from Create PT Wealth, and today what you'll be listening to is how I talk you through the initial part of a new client sales meeting. Now, I call it a new sales meeting because that's really what it is, a meeting or just a conversation between two people. The big part about it is identifying somebody's problem and then being able to provide some type of solution or some type of strategy for them to get over that. So what you'll see displaying on your screen at the moment is our what we call our new client sheet. And the example I've used is the one directly from Peak Physique. I've used this one for quite a number of years, used it with huge amounts of success, signed up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of personal training clients using this very method that I'll be talking about today. So the bits that I talk about, what you'll hear is that it will come from a lot of experience, a lot of things that I've done in the past that's certainly helped us out and certainly allowed us to achieve success in business and in terms of new client sales. So we'll start with some of the general things about the form. When you're looking at it, you'll see up the top there's a couple of general things which we'd expect you to be asking any type of lead at all. Whether somebody called you up, whether they came from an email or whatever, the first thing that I want to be asking them is that second line down. How'd you hear about us? And that's the word referral, i.e., did somebody refer you to us? Was it word of mouth? Was it an existing client? At Peak Physique, roughly about 72% of our clients come from our existing clients. What that tells us is that we have there's a certainly very high referral rate of people. What that then enables us to do straight away is a couple of things. Number one, depending on where they come from, we can track and test our marketing so we know exactly how they've found out about us. Number two, what we can do is we can reward the people who refer clients to us, and that's another method in the whole customer care regime. The top line, which I missed out, you'll see the date. Date's obviously going to be pretty important because you want to know when you've met people. May not sound that critical when you've only got a few leads rolling in, but when they really start to roll in, you want to have some sort of system where you can track and measure this. I've set this sheet up in such a way that I can write on it. So it's, as you can see, it's a template. And what I do is I scribble on it, I write things, I circle things. Then what I do is I basically use it just to guide the sales conversation that I have. This particular sheet that you're looking at, when I'm meeting with a new client, probably would take me anywhere in the vicinity, and depending on the client, anywhere from about 15 minutes up to about 25 minutes spent on this. Now, what I won't do is I won't sit there and just simply ask a bunch of questions. So I won't just sit there and say, okay, can you please first of all tell me your name, and I'll write their name down. Okay, can you please tell me your phone number, and then I'll write their phone number down. We're assuming that a lot of that stuff I would have partially collected or I'd know some of it. And what I don't do is I don't just follow it bit by bit. What I do is I actually I use it as a tool to enable me to dance around in a conversation with people. So you'll see the basic stuff up the top. You'll see the referral, you'll see the phone number, the email. What will happen is once we take that form back, if for some reason the client gets converted immediately, or if they end up in our prospecting system, depending on where they end up is the importance of that, because what will happen is eventually they'll end up in our database. So we'll most certainly need to collect their name, their phone number, and their email so that we can start delivering to them. And you can see the word Peakology there, and Peakology is just our email-based newsletter. And so what we'll do is we'll make sure we'll get their okay to start sending that. I've got 4 quick questions there. Those questions are just in relation to where does that person live, where do they work, what type of occupation have they got, and their age. And those questions allow me to open up some conversation. So when somebody says to me they live in a certain suburb, I can almost already start to get a picture on how they might fit in or how they might be suited to our business. I'm thinking about things logistically, like do they have to travel far to meet us? What have they been to? How long would it take for them to get to us? And it's different times of the day. Similarly, when I ask them when they work or where they work, it tells me a lot of information. Number one, it tells me are they going to be a morning, a daytime, an evening exerciser. It tells me a little bit about their commitment in terms of hours a week that they work, and similarly the occupation. Are they involved in manual labour? Do they sit behind a desk? Do they have the flexibility? Those four quick questions alone can just tell you so much information about a client. It's not funny. And what can happen is you can start to get a bit of an idea on, okay, how's this person going to possibly fit into our business, and how could we best service them? What you'll see down around about halfway down the page, it says current or previous program. So what I want to get into is really the nuts and bolts of what are they doing at the moment. Are they doing any form of physical activity? Have they been to a gym before? Do they have a gym membership? Have they worked out with a trainer before? And you'll see those two words I've got in the center there. I've got gym, and then I've got a forward slash, and I've got PT. What I'll do there is I'll ask people, would be one of my first and most important questions. Have you ever worked out with a trainer before? And what I find is, certainly didn't find this 7, 8, 9 years ago, but I certainly find it today, is that there is a whole bunch of people that we see who have seen personal trainers already. And what that means is that we've got people who are knowledgeable about personal training. They might have experienced it before. And the response to that question is going to enable me to frame a bit of a picture on how I can best help this person. So where it's got PT, I might circle those two letters there. So I'll circle PT, and I'll draw an arrow that comes off of that, and it might say something like they've had a trainer before. And then I'll ask them, how often did you work out with that trainer? And they might tell me 2 times a week, so I'll write down twice a week. And where'd you see that trainer? And they might say, okay, I was seeing that trainer at a certain gym, so I'll write down the name of that gym. I'll say, oh, who's the trainer? Because I might know them. They might give me some feedback on that trainer, and I can start to ask them, how long did you work out with that trainer for? I can also ask them, can you tell me some reasons why you stopped? And they can start to get into that. The benefit of asking those questions is that people will get right into telling me a bit about what went on before. Now, they might have stopped with their trainer just because they particularly fell off the wagon, so to speak. They lost interest. They might have found that there was something about the trainer that they didn't actually connect with. They might have said, I was fronting up every Tuesday and doing boxing, and I just absolutely hate boxing, but my trainer insisted that I do it. So it's given me a picture straight away to think, oh well, maybe we need to try some sort of different plan of attack with this person. Similarly with the gym, have they worked out at a gym before? Do they have a gym membership? It certainly helps us frame a picture on them. How long ago have they been on their previous program is incredibly important. I'll even go as far as to asking them what they were paying with their trainer before, so I can get a picture on how much they were spending and how much they were budgeting on their own health and well-being previously. The couple of boxes you'll see then underneath that, which is a weekly time schedule, which is the AM and the PM, what that'll be for, that'll be mostly for the people who are already currently involved in some type of level of activity, some type of exercise, or it could be just for people when I start brainstorming with them what their perfect week is going to look like. So the other thing that I find more commonly than not is that these days people are involved in yoga or Pilates or walking or some type of training. So what I do is get a clear and definite picture on the different modes of activity that they do, which will certainly make a lot of sense in terms of helping me set them up with one of our team members. So that's what I'll be using that section for. Underneath that, you'll see two categories. One of them is about the food, and the other part is about the goals. So when we get into the goals part of it, I'll be saying, now can you tell me about some of the goals that you might like to achieve with your program with us? And so they'll get into telling me about some of the stuff. So it might be, lose weight, tone up, feel a bit fitter, feel a bit stronger, etc. And then I'll start asking them questions about that. For example, have you been on a weight loss program before? Yes or no? How's that worked for you? What type of results did you get from it? Why'd you stop? What changed? Etc. It allows me to really get in there and find out more about this person. Over to the left hand side, what I then say is, look, part of what we do here at Peak Physique is we like to give our clients plenty of guidance in all aspects of their exercise, including the nutrition. So could you run us through a typical day's eating? So what they'll do is they'll proceed to tell me a bit about what they eat. So we'll start with breakfast. Okay, I eat this at breakfast and this at morning tea, and I'll be scrolling through the whole day, and straight away I'll be getting a clear and definite picture on how we can most effectively help that person. Down the bottom and underneath that, I'll get into current and past injuries. So the question I typically ask, I'll say something along the lines of, have you had any injuries, or is there anything that would affect your training with us? and more commonly than not, then people will start telling me about broken ankles